I'm 59, so I'm thinking about death all the time.
Still very young.
I'm young old. I mean, I think thinking about death is good.
Creepy. It's just such a fetishistic event.
Come on, you can't sign? Come on, kids, only two of us.
I mean, in general, you want to lead a private life.
You don't want to socialize, Mr.
What do you think happens when we die, Keanu Reeves?
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
Ace actor Keanu has caused a stir in Hollywood with his latest revelations about his personal struggles. The John Wick actor recently moved his fans to tears as he poured out his heart and raw emotions in a tell-it-all live session. The actor has had a lot of things going well for him these days, so what exactly prompted his spontaneous outburst?
I'm 59, so I'm thinking about death all the time.
Still very young.
I'm young old. I mean, I think thinking about death is good.
Keanu Reeves is one of the most respected and celebrated actors in Hollywood, having a string of great movies under his belt. He's a likable character whose demeanor and good work have endeared him to many fans, not only in the US but across the globe. So many of his fans were wondering why their idol got so emotional during the interview.
What happens to you if you don't do this?
Well, it's the end of the universe. It's the end of time and space continuum.
So
it's all over.
You're facing your own mortality and the mortality of all existence.
Yeah.
Well, the answer to these questions and more is what I'll cover in today's episode. So grab a chair and let's get ready to analyze Keanu Reeves' personal issues and why he's constantly brooding on the subject of death.
What do you think happens when we die, Keanu Reeves?
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
Keanu Reeves is promoting his latest book, The Book of Elsewhere, which follows an immortal warrior on a mission to unalive himself. Now, this has left many people wondering why, of all the subjects the Matrix actor could write about, he chose to broach the topic of being unalive. He has had things going for him lately, considering the massive success that his John Wick character has chalked globally. He's received nominations in several award categories and bagged a few of them. He's well liked both across the US and the globe, and some of his co-stars have nothing but praise for him during their shoot.
I think he brought me tea once.
He's very generous with his time, commitment, and his ideas. I think he's one of those collaborative people I've ever worked with.
His music band Dogstar isn't doing badly either, releasing the third studio album a few years ago to critical acclaim. They've toured the States and hosted a few jam sessions over the past years, and things are going great for them. So it baffled all and sundry that someone who had everything going for him would still be thinking about leaving the earth. Well, it appears the 59-year-old has been thinking about the topic, given what he's been battling, which I'll cover extensively in this video. While promoting his new book, co-written by China Miéville, the actor explained that he's been brooding over the topic because he was aging.
I'm 59, so I'm thinking about death all the time.
Hopefully it's not crippling, but hopefully it's sensitized us to an appreciation of the breath we have and the relationships that we have the potential to have. Of course, we all know Keanu Reeves can be a bit generous with words and is good at hiding what is really going on in his life. For example, though he contributed to the writing of his book, he gave all the praise and credit to his co-author. He told the interviewer, "I didn't write a novel, China wrote a novel." However, who was also present at the interview, put the spotlight back on Keanu, arguing, "That's putting it too far," adding, "It wouldn't exist in the form without a lot of very thoughtful and careful work with Keanu." So, given Keanu's penchant to hide the obvious, it's safe to think that he probably hid the real reason he was thinking about leaving this life to his fans. We all know how Hollywood can be a dark and unsafe place for stars like Keanu Reeves. If you don't, then you must be living under a rock. I mean, we've heard countless stories from the likes of Jim Caviezel, Monique Hicks, Cat Williams, and Mel Gibson about the evil in the industry. We've seen how their careers took a nosedive because they decided to out some of the wrongs that the industry had perpetrated, like what Cat Williams went through when he decided to expose the Illuminati.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time.
In fact, we've heard rumors of Cat Williams having to sleep in body armor because the Illuminati is after him for exposing them. This was revealed by Cat's mentee, Jaguar Wright, who claims that she spent about 9 months with the comedian before the Illuminati breached his compound.
Back in that moment, Cat was still wearing Kevlar to bed. To bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on.
So it makes sense why Keanu Reeves wouldn't want to publicly expose the Hollywood establishment, because he might be the cold, fearless, and all-conquering John Wick in movies. But in real life, he's a softie. Moreover, he likes to downplay serious issues and will do everything that he can to hide information from his fans. This explains why he rarely publicly calls out individuals or organizations for hounding him, like the time Matthew Perry launched an unprovoked attack on him. At the time, the late Friends star had written a book where he celebrated his friend and co-star River Phoenix.
In a paragraph of the book, Perry questions why Keanu Reeves is still alive, while some other talented actors died young.
The book, titled Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, was a memoir chronicling his life so far. In the book, he wrote, "River Phoenix was a beautiful man inside and out. Too beautiful for this world, it turned out. It always seems to be the really talented guys who go down. Why is it that the original thinkers like River Phoenix and Heath Ledger die, but Keanu Reeves still walks among us?" This was a clear shot at Keanu's gift as an actor and musician. Mind you, Keanu had made a name for himself in the action movie genre and was widely celebrated. So, to question his gift and acting skills was to create doubts in the minds of people about Keanu's pedigree. Many fans thought that Matthew Perry was just a tool in the box of the establishment, and they were using him to discredit Keanu Reeves. They felt that Keanu had reached the pinnacle of success in the entertainment industry, and the establishment was finding ways to bring him down. Now, if you know how these things work, you know that first, the elites would look for any dirt on their target and use it to their advantage. However, in the case of Keanu Reeves, he was squeaky clean. I mean, here is a man who's praised by all and sundry for his humility, work ethic, and altruism. So where are you going to get the dirt from? Thus, the establishment had to come up with a second plan, which was to get a respected actor to question his abilities as an actor. This would give rise to a group of fans who would also discredit the actor and spread the information on social media. Gradually, the discussion on social media would eat away Keanu's reputation as an outstanding actor and finally relegate him to the back burner. However, the whole plan didn't work, as fans all over the world came for Matthew Perry's head for attacking their star.
Woke actor Matthew Perry is going through the ringer recently with backlash after backlash ever since he name-dropped Keanu Reeves.
The backlash got so intense that the actor had no choice but to apologize for his words. He felt that heat both on social and traditional media as everyone discussed how disingenuous his remarks were. Keanu was a respectable gentleman who displayed humility, and thus, the universe wouldn't stand by for the Hollywood elites to drag him down. When asked why he name-dropped Keanu Reeves in his memoir, the comic actor clearly didn't have any reason. In fact, the only reason that he gave was that he lived on the same street as Keanu. He claimed it was a mistake and should have used his own name instead. "I'm actually a big fan of Keanu. I just chose a random name. My mistake. I apologize. I should have used my own name instead." Matthew Perry didn't stop there. He intimated that he was considering removing Keanu's name from subsequent editions of the book.
He apologized and said he was very sorry for it, but he also said that going forward, that those comments wouldn't be in the paperback edition, and that also they wouldn't be in the second edition of the book.
This quick turnaround shocked many fans, as they least expected it. They were expecting a high-profile feud between the two top actors that would serve as fodder for gossip columns for weeks, but it never materialized. Some fans were even expecting Keanu to release a few jibes of his own toward Matthew Perry, but he kept his calm and remained tight-lipped over the matter. Many people applauded the John Wick star for how smartly he handled the situation, making Perry look like a clown. However, all wasn't what it seemed. On the surface, Keanu appeared to be okay, granting interviews here and there and meeting up with fans. However, Deep Throat sources claim that Perry's words really got to Keanu, and they hurt him deeply. For a man who thinks about leaving the earth and harbors unhealthy tendencies, the last insult anyone should aim at him is to wish he was unalive. The unconfirmed rumors claim that the action star became moody and wouldn't eat for days on end. We all know how emotional Keanu Reeves can be.
You know, when you love something, you always have a little bit more.
Unlike the tough protagonist he often portrays on screen, Keanu is more of a softie, so it isn't beyond him to shed a tear or two at an unprovoked jab. So you see why Keanu would break down in tears. Sadly, this isn't the first time the actor has been on the receiving end of attacks from the elites. Years back, he was blacklisted because he refused to take part in the fruitless deeds of darkness. The whole drama took a toll on his personality, but he wouldn't give up. He was determined to fight tooth and nail to prove his haters wrong, and he did. did. In the end, he was victorious, but at the cost of his sanity and resolve. It all started when Keanu starred in the 1994 action thriller movie Speed. The movie was a box office success, raking in a whopping $350 million on a $30 million budget. The movie script, plot, action, and direction received praise from critics, but the star of the show was Keanu Reeves. The actor was roundly applauded for his character, Officer Jack Travin. The initial success of the movie gave the producers and directors the impetus to shoot a second installment, and that was where Keanu's problems began.
The problem was Keanu Reeves read the script for Speed 2 and he just told the director and the producers it was one of the worst screenplays he ever read in his life.
The studio approached Keanu to reprise his role in the second installment, but the actor didn't want to shoot the movie. He boldly told the directors and producers that the script was junk. Moreover, he was exhausted from shooting back-to-back movies. Keanu would regret this decision because it cost him 15 years of his career. This is how he explained the situation in a recent interview. "It was a tough decision. I really had an amazing time filming and making Speed. It did pretty well, so there was a let's do it again. Then I was doing a film at the time called Chain Reaction, and I was in Chicago, and I read the script. That film was pretty physical. It was a lot of running and cold. So they showed me the script, and I just didn't see it. I didn't get it, so I couldn't do it. I didn't work at Fox for 15 years after that. I believe so, but I don't know, it's only a theory. I ended up working there again, but it took 15 years.
The movie was a colossal failure, making only $164 million on a budget of $60 million, meaning it lost $80 million, and at the same time it only got a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It turned out Keanu's verdict on the script was right, as the movie performed poorly both critically and commercially. Several critics panned the movie for its unrealistic storyline, over-the-top acting, and bad direction. Overall, the movie earned poor ratings across movie aggregate websites. Who was blamed for it all? Keanu Reeves. The studios thought that the movie would have performed better had Keanu jumped onto it. Thus, they decided to teach him a lesson. The John Wick actor was banned for 15 years by the studio. During that time, he found work hard to come by, and the scripts that were coming his way were worse than that of Speed 2. Given how fragile and emotional the actor can be, the whole brouhaha frustrated him. Keanu, however, had a lifeline when the movie Matrix came his way. According to rumors, Keanu's role as Neo was initially meant for Sandra Bullock, but she turned. Keanu picked it up and made it his own, and it remains one of his most iconic characters to date.
The Matrix changed my life, and then over these years, it's changed so many other people's lives.
The Matrix catapulted Keanu Reeves into global stardom, making him one of the most easily recognizable faces of all time. His likable persona, coupled with his down-to-earth approach to dealing with people, endeared him to many fans. Keanu Reeves' star continued to rise, bringing him closer to achieving his goal until tragedy struck in 2001. His girlfriend of more than a decade, Jennifer Syme, tragically passed away in a gory motor accident at the age of 28. The couple had just got back together after they had split following the loss of their first child. These events happened concurrently, compounding Keanu's grief. First, the loss of his child, and then his girlfriend. This tragedy rocked Keanu's world and brought him back down to earth. The action star felt alone, and it looked like the universe was conspiring to rob him of the joy that he desperately needed.
There's this sort of mythology that surrounds you, that you're sad. That there's this whole sad Keanu thing. That you're someone who carries quite a lot of burdens around with you. And
Jennifer Syme was Keanu's world, but his world was lost, and so was he. He had to grope around in the dark, looking for some sort of guidance. At the burial of Syme, Reeves acted as a pallbearer, carrying the coffin to the graveside, where she was buried near their child. Keanu was scheduled to film the sequels to the Matrix movie franchise, but had to put that on hold to find some peace and quiet. Some conspiracy theorists suspected foul play in the passing of Jennifer Syme, especially given the details of the accident. According to reports, Syme ran her vehicle into 3 parked cars, which was kind of bizarre. The medical reports didn't state she was intoxicated or driving under the influence. So, how she ran into 3 parked vehicles remains a mystery. They surmise that the elites who tried to unsuccessfully sabotage Keanu's career were at it again. This time, their target was the love of his life. Now, all these might sound like conjecture to you until you hear how the Illuminati hounded Cat Williams so much that he had to sleep with full body armor.
Back in that moment, Cat was still wearing Kevlar to bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on.
It appears Kat knew what the Illuminati could do, so he prepared adequately for them. He was fully aware of all their tactics, both overt and covert. Like Keanu Reeves, Kat Williams had been blacklisted and suffered a media blackout, all because of his undying passion to expose the evil in Hollywood. Kat has gone to jail countless times, all without a single charge, but he's still going strong. Though he has yet to suffer the loss of a loved one, Kat Williams knows exactly how it feels to have the Hollywood elites breathing down your neck. According to Jaguar Wright, the Illuminati breached Kat's house at some point and almost got to him, but he escaped.
Walking away was hard, but it was when the Illuminati first started coming after him. And I'll never forget the day when they breached the house.
Kat has been at the forefront of exposing the dark deeds of the movie and entertainment industry. His now famous interview at the beginning of this year set the tone for all that is happening right now. He told Shannon Sharpe on his Club Shay Shay podcast that all lies would be exposed in 2024.
Deviance is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed.
Now, what happened to Diddy and TD Jakes this year? Well, your guess is as good as mine. Kat explained that he was in the industry to expose all the rot and thus wouldn't give up anytime soon. According to him, he'd spent several years collecting all the information that he needed, sometimes paying for them so that he would reveal the perpetrators. Of course, his words seemed outrageous, but given what we know so far about the darkness hovering around Hollywood, we better believe him. He's seen it all and is revealing it all. Another person who is also in the business of exposing individuals or organizations that allegedly take advantage of others is Monique Hicks. The comedian and actress has been on the receiving end of ill treatment from several elites in the industry because she won't keep shut. Her favorite subjects are Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels. Recently, she accused Winfrey of stealing roles from her during her turn on the Club Shay Shay podcast.
Lee Daniels was getting ready to do a biopic on Richard Pryor, and he offered me the grandmother. Who then calls Lee Daniels and says, I want to be the grandmother? Oprah Winfrey.
She is one of the first bold persons to openly call out the talk show host, barring the consequences. Oprah is a well-loved, well-respected role model for several young women around the world. Thus, any criticism against her would be met with stiff opposition. Often, the critic would be attacked by her fans and called all sorts of names. They could even get blacklisted or blackballed because Oprah had connections that run deep in the industry. So, Monique knew what she was signing up for when she criticized Oprah, but she went ahead anywhere. She suffered the consequences of her criticisms, which included blackballing and blacklisting. However, like Kat Williams and Keanu Reeves, Monique didn't give up. She fought on and continued exposing the evil in the industry. Recently, she exposed Netflix for racial and gender bias when they offered her a paltry sum for a Netflix comedy special when some of her colleagues had mouth-watering sum.
Monique has filed a lawsuit against Netflix. Now, you remember Monique had came out and said basically they lowballed her for a comedy special.
According to Monique, the streaming giant offered her colleague Amy Schumer millions of dollars and only gave her $500,000 for a similar event. To make matters worse, Netflix also offered more money to Dave Chappelle. Monique announced the discrepancies in pay to her fans and called on them to boycott the streaming giant. She later sued them in court for gender and racial bias, but Netflix wouldn't budge. Instead, they promised to fight the case in court. Despite Netflix's initial position, the streaming giant succumbed and invited Monique and her lawyers for a meeting. Finally, both parties resolved their impasse, and Monique subsequently got what she wanted. Monique's case was a clear example of what some Black actresses were going through at the hands of the elites in the industry, but were too afraid to speak up. Though nothing is concrete, it is believed that Monique's fight for equality empowered Taraji P. Henson to speak up when the industry treated her badly.
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over.
A few months ago, Taraji indirectly called Oprah out for mistreating them on the set of The Color Purple. She didn't call Oprah by name, but she complained bitterly about the working conditions on the set of the critically acclaimed movie. First, the producers gave them rental cars to drive to the set, which she wasn't comfortable with because they were a liability. The actors had to pay for any damage to the car. She said, "This is insurance liability. It's dangerous. Now they robbing people. What do I look like? Taking myself to work by myself in a rental car. So I was like, can I get a driver or security to take me? I'm not asking for the moon. They're like, well, if we do it for you, we got to do it for everybody. Well, do it for everybody. It's stuff like that, stuff I shouldn't have to fight for. I was on the set of Empire fighting for trailers that wasn't infested with bugs. On some occasions during the movie's shooting, Taraji had to ask for food for the cast because they were hungry. These experiences forced her to take a stand and fight for herself and those who were coming after her.
You know? And if I can't fight for them coming up behind me, then what the am I doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, don't apologize.
Her experience is only a microcosm of what some actors go through at the hands of the Hollywood elite. So, it's understandable when A-listers like Keanu complain and even consider leaving the earth because of the ill treatment they often receive. Keanu's issue might not be low pay or pay disparity, but he's also gone through the mill and paid the price. Fortunately, they have decided to expose the rot in the industry so that those coming after them would be cautious. They are sounding the alarm and hoping to cleanse the industry of the evil that has overtaken it to make it safer for everyone. Since Jennifer Syme's passing, Keanu has been romantically linked to several women, including Brenda Davis and China Chow. However, he is currently dating Alexandra Grant, a visual artist who examines language and written texts through painting, drawing, sculpture, video, and other media. The couple has largely kept their relationship private and is rarely photographed together. However, insiders claim that their love is waxing stronger with each passing day because they have each other's back.
No, because if you're a lover, you got to be a fighter.
How so?
Because if you don't fight for your love, what kind of love do you have?
It is the hope of many fans that this love would empower the John Wick actor to keep fighting any negative tendencies that he might be harboring. We hope that Alexandra will continue to be the shining light in his life, guiding him out of negativity into positivity. Most importantly, fans hope that Keanu Reeves will continue to expose the dealings of the Hollywood elite to help make the industry a safer space for everyone. This brings us to the end of today's episode. Thanks for watching.